Hey Swaggy Swan family, hope everybody's doing great. This video, highly requested, is going to be an update and tips and tricks on how I keep Savannah's hair healthy so that it can continue to grow at the extent that it is. It's nice and thick and healthy. I get tons of emails, tons of messages via social media, and tons of comments asking me what is it that I am doing. So here's a bunch of tips that I use when it comes to baby girl's hair. And as always, this is specifically what I do for my daughter's hair. I am by no means forcing these tips on anyone. I'm just simply offering my advice and tips on what I do. And if these tips are useful for you, that is wonderful. And if you do something else for your child, that's great too. So let's get into it. And the first tip is to use a baby shampoo that is mild, and I use the Shea Moisture Raw Shea Argan Oil Baby Shampoo. I've been using that on Savannah since she was about 1 month old. I have not used any other shampoo except for that one. Now, the reason I say to invest in a good mild shampoo is because you want to be able to pay attention to how that shampoo is reacting in your child's hair. If you're trying a shampoo and you notice that the hair is still drying and the hair is not agreeing with the shampoo, stop using that immediately. It's just like our hair as adults. We have to go through different products sometimes to find what works for us. Every baby shampoo, just because it says baby shampoo, does not mean it's going to agree with your child's hair. So most importantly, pick out a shampoo, monitor and make sure that it's leaving your child's hair moisturized, and only washing your baby's hair once a week should be sufficient. Do not overwash. That can cause drying. Also very important, do not use any conditioner in Savannah's hair. That may change as she gets older, but for right now, no. To answer that question, I do not use any conditioner. I simply use the shampoo to wash her hair. My next tip is to try and only do your child's hair when they are in a good mood. There is nothing worse than trying to be in your child's head and they are in a cranky, fussy, or just a bad mood. It will leave them possibly scarred, okay? They can associate you being in their hair with them having bad feelings. So it's just good for you to put them in a great mood, make sure they're happy, and then begin to do whatever it is your regimen is in their hair. I always make sure that Savannah's in a good mood. If she's not, there's 24 hours in the day. There is no rush to be in her head. I just wait until she's calm, collected, she's been fed, she's played a little sometimes, but when she's a little bit tired, ready for sleep, that is when I go ahead and I do stuff with her hair when she's in a good mood. The next tip is to moisturize your child's hair with whatever you choose. I personally think you should try a natural oil, whether it be coconut oil, tea tree oil, or in my case, I use Jamaican black castor oil. That is my preference. I'm familiar with that product, and I do believe it's helped with growth and thickness in Savannah's hair. And my next tip is to use a satin bonnet. I don't believe it matters what kind, as long as it is satin. That is the best for protecting your child's hair. The same way us adults use them, you should want to use that to protect your child's hair. If you have an issue with satin bonnets, of course, you can definitely just use a satin pillowcase and make sure that's what they lay on. If you look up research, it shows a lot of thinning of baby's hair as well as shedding and hair loss is due to the friction caused by the materials that we lay them on. The materials they sleep on, such as cotton, materials in their hats and other accessories such as wool, all of those things can be very hard on the hair and can contribute to hair loss. So my recommendation, what I do for Savannah, is she does have a satin bonnet, and I do have a satin pillowcase for her as well. Obviously, for babies, you would remove that pillow out of the pillowcase and just lay them on it whenever they're napping. And this brings me into my next tip. Now, once you've removed the satin bonnet or protective covering for your child's hair, you want to get into the habit of combing your child's hair. Now, this comb that I'm using here is a wider tooth comb in comparison to a lot of the combs that they have out for babies. You really, as parents, want to make sure you're paying attention to what comb works in your child's hair. You don't want to use a thin tooth comb if your child does have a thicker texture hair, because you're you're going to pull it. You don't want to pull the hair out. So just pay attention to the type of combs that you're using when you comb out your child's hair, dependent again upon the texture that they have. So for Savannah, this is the type of comb that works for her, as you can see. And the more that I have been doing this since she was about 1 month old, it is like nothing to her. She does not mind getting her hair combed. And the reason you comb baby's hair is because just like our hair, it can mat and tangle. You don't want to just leave it to mat and tangle. That I think is inhumane and horrible. You should definitely be running a comb through your child's hair. And if you find the right kind of comb that works for their texture, there should be no pain involved in that process. The most important thing about combing through your child's hair is that it allows you the opportunity to take the time and pay attention to their scalp. You can see up close if there's any issues. Combing through their hair can allow you to detect if there's any cradle cap, if there's any areas of concern that you want to discuss with doctors, but simply not doing anything to their hair can mean that you can miss something important. And my last tip is, if you're going to be using any type of elastics in your child's hair, I would say use non-rubber elastics. For example, when I do Savannah's Bantu knots, I am only using non-rubber elastics. I can't stress that enough. Regular rubber bands in their hair can cause shedding. It can pull the hair out, and it's not good for their hair. And for headbands and other accessories, you want to make sure it's not too tight on your child's head. That can be disastrous as well. Those are the tips of what I use and have been doing for Savannah since birth. The regimen has not changed much. I hope this was helpful for you all. If you have any questions, don't forget to comment. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this. Thanks everyone for watching. Take care, and as always, God bless from the Swaggy Swan family.